Yeah. So today's topic is glory. Glory. Because it is really important to feel, but I mean, it is quite a vague concept, glory. Do we need that? Do we have to have that? But in a religious term, glory is really important. People, in general, in religion, in any society or tribe or nation, they are trying to glorify their own gods. Right? They believe that they need to give glory to God so that they can get the blessing from above. This is the mechanism, right? The lower creature, humans, need to glorify the divine beings in order to get the blessings or in order to escape the harms from the above. I mean, in our subconscious, we have this belief that I need to do good, I need to be nice so that I can not punished from the divine beings. I mean, this is like a subconscious thing in us. I mean, people are religious, people are spiritual. I mean, we can't just explain everything with science or engineering, mechanical things, right? We have this inner being that yearns for eternity, yearns for spiritual thing. And that is why I brought up this subject, glory. Okay? The first concept is that we tend to believe that glory should be submitted to divine beings from us because we are the lower beings. And once they got the glory, he or she, the divine beings, will measure it, how satisfying it is. And the divine beings will decide how much blessing they will give to us. Is that correct in Hinduism?
Yes.
Pretty similar. How about Islam?
Yeah, the same.
I think it's same because I've studied through as well.
Maybe even more. Like
Even more. True. You need to
you need to pray 5 times a day.
5 times a day. Even you need to sacrifice yourself, right? In a big time to get an approval that you are appropriate to going to the heaven or nirvana or to get blessings, right? This is how most of the religions in the world work, right? And that is the general God-human relationship. The Christian God is working in the opposite way. So, I think you've heard about this many times. God created the Christian God in the Bible. It says that God created us in His own image. That's an incredible statement. It means that He didn't create us as a servant, or He didn't make us as a tool to accomplish something, but rather He wanted us to enjoy the loving and intimate relationship with God, right? I'll give you one example about this glory. There's a professors and students, and if why are you laughing? So professor and student. Let's just assume that a student go to the professor and say things like this: "Wow, professor, you did such a great job on this project. Wow, I was just astonished, and I respect you so much. I mean, you are, I think, one of the greatest scientists in the world." Okay, the student said so, and was he glorified by that statement? Yeah, maybe a little. But how about this? The professor came to visit the student, and he was working on his project really hard, and he says this: "I believe that you are going to be the one who will surpass me. You are one of the most greatest students that I've ever had. I mean, you will be the leading scientist in the world." So, which one is more glorified? Student will be glorified. Okay? The God in the Bible, it says that He's full of glory. He's full of everything. He doesn't lack anything. Okay? He is perfect. He is holistic. He is full of glory. He didn't make humans to be glorified by his own creatures, but he created human beings to share his own glory to them. That's why it mentioned that he made us in his own image. Right? He didn't create us as a tool or as a servant, as a robot. He wanted us to live according to his will. And that is the way we can experience that glory, which was from God, not from us. Okay? I mean, amongst humans, us, we can share some glories and honors and respect, but glory itself has the connotation that it is a divine realm, right? We know something glorious, but we also want to experience something glorious, maybe getting a top-notch award or maybe getting a real huge fame. I mean, that is glorious a thing, but at the same time, we want something more. We want something spiritual. We want something eternal. That's why the glory itself remains in us, deep in our hearts. And God wanted us to experience that glory. That's what the Bible is trying to explain us. Okay? We are glorious beings. We don't have to sacrifice. We don't have to work hard. We don't have to do some rituals or do hard work to impress God. No, He's already full of glory. He doesn't need us to sacrifice ourselves to get the most glory for Him. That's how opposite the concept is. Right? The Bible is trying to explain who God is, who the real God is. That is like a very fundamental differences amongst the religions. Okay? How about that?
So I actually realized that if I lack of if I am lack of any water, so I'm thirsty, then I need water. Then, but if I'm full of water and I'm not thirsty,
Okay.
then I don't need water. So the God is full of like water. So it is translated to glory.
Yeah. Okay.
So he don't need to accept, but he just give.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
I realize that.
I mean, the reason how we got this concept of glory, love, and peace, like justice, is okay. It's the attributes and characteristics of God. That's how we know this type of attributes. The animals, they have no idea what justice is. They don't need to learn any things about love. They can just be fat and they'll just be good. But humans are longing for these values. And no one can explain this with the physiological or scientific or psychological approach, except this spiritual element, which is glory in us. We are longing for this glory. We want to be acknowledged by divine beings. But people tend to serve Him with the best sacrifices they can do. Okay, God, I did that. I did this and I did that. And would you please pleased by me? When I was in Egypt, I met a lot of people, and most of the guys, they have this black dot on their forehead. You know what that is. They need to bow down 5 times a day, and they're just pressing their foreheads to the earth so hard so that they may impress Allah. Right? That's how they're eager to be acknowledged by divine beings. But everything should be on them. But Christianity is opposite. Totally opposite. God is willing to make us in His own image. And the reason was that He wanted to share His own glory to us. so that we can live a fruitful life, a loveful life, right? I mean, we can enjoy the love that God has given to us. We can enjoy the glory. And we can also share that glory and love and peace to the others. Not to get more attention or more award from Him, but since we also began to be filled with those attributes, we now can share that to the others. It's not to get blessed, but it's to bless others. You know how different this is? Right? In most of the other religions, they need to impress their own gods. And to do so, they need to serve the others. If you go to Islamic countries, if you go to the mosques, there are always beggars, homeless people, who will very proudly ask for money. I am giving you this opportunity to serve the others. And by doing that, you will be acknowledged by God. So just give me money. They are so arrogant. Seriously, right? But they're like manipulating the mechanism of this religious system. Okay? They need to serve the others to get more blessing. And they're misusing that principle by asking them for more money.
Yes, it's like about this local situation about professor and student.
Yeah.
And today it makes more sense that you told us about this. That if students have to glorify professor, and he feels it a little bit.
Yeah, just a little. Yeah.
Yeah, but if it repeats many times, he will acknowledge the student, right? And I thought if it works the same way as people pray to God and He will accept them to the heaven. To be honest, I felt some kind of pity.
Pity,
Yes, I couldn't believe that this mechanism works even in religion.
Yeah.
And I couldn't accept it like as it should be. So and also like I know one rumor. I heard many times from other people like. God in Christianity, God says you don't have to live like glorified and in a rich way on earth, so you will be accepted to heaven and live
forever.
You'll be acknowledged, yes. So in other words, live poor on earth and you'll live rich on heaven. And I also couldn't accept these words because I didn't know very well the concept of Bible. So I believe these thoughts and rumors. Today you told me about this, and I'm trying to realize this.
I mean, you mentioned several things. I'm gonna break it down a little. I mean, it was really good questions and things. Thank you for sharing that. First, the professor and student.
It's just a very good example.
Good example, yes. And the amazing thing is that I've mentioned many times, God made us in His own image. And I mean, I said the stories with professor and student. I mean, yes, it is because it's God and we are just creatures, right? But at the same time, He wanted to be in His position, which is having fellowship with God. We can have an intimate relationship with God. That's like a very core of Christianity. We can have a personal, intimate relationship with God. And through that, we can fulfill our calling and destiny and purpose and everything. That's everything we need to have. Other than that, it's just delusion or deceptions, right? If I achieve this, if I make this like a goal, then I'll be happy. I'll be satisfied. Really? But once you start to have this personal relationship with God, it makes a total difference. So that is why we don't have to pray like 5 times a day to be accepted by God. I mean, having a dialogue It's called prayer in Christianity. You don't need to set 5 times a day to have a dialogue with someone. You can just start the dialogue anytime, anywhere you want to. And if you're busy, okay. You don't need to put a rug on the floor and just bow down to have a dialogue with God. That's how different it is. And you mentioned second thing, there was about
Live poor on earth.
yes. The history of Christianity is at least 2,000 years since the beginning of Jesus Christ. I mean, before that we have Old Testament, which is more thousands of years. But since the Jesus, we have a lot of doctrines and teachings. So there are people who believe so. I don't. I'm not against that. I mean, there are some good features. I mean, you need to. You can be very. You can live as a humble person on earth. I don't want to get rich. I just want to live a very simple life to serve the others, to fulfill the calling. I mean, in that way, sure, he can't be rich. I mean, I understand, but if I'm not rich on earth, I'm gonna get richer on heaven. No, it's not like that. I don't believe so. You know what I mean? There are good features of that lifestyle. I mean, simple and humble, and I mean, good lifestyle. I admire that. But that mechanism, equation, not poor on earth, really rich on heaven. No, it's not like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, that is the very different concept of glory, God, and human beings, because it is all related with each other, and that's how the Bible is trying to explain about God and about us. That's the starting point of our lives. We need to realize who we are. We need to also realize who God is. And that relationship explains everything. And that relationship means everything. That's the core value of Christianity. And that is why I chose God of the Bible amongst the other gods. That is why, one of the reasons I chose God of the Bible over other gods. I mean, I've studied many gods. I mean, there are good, very nice gods. Even Allah, He has nice features. When you touch the ground after you wake up, you need to memorize certain phrase, which is really good. I mean, I'm so thankful that I'm alive again. I'm so grateful that I can be on the earth one more day. I agree with that. I'm not sure whether it's the exact word, but at the same time, but no other gods treats humans, us, in this manner. And that's why I chose Bible and the God of the Bible over other gods. Yeah, there are some other things, but I think it's better for me to stop here. And if you have any question or suggestion or opinions, you can feel free to share.
You just told one thing, and exactly yesterday we talked about some similar, like about dates. My friend, he doesn't understand why every person is so thinks a lot about birthdays.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you, for example, if you love a person, why should you give presents only on their birthdays or any holidays? You can give presents any day, when you want to. So you don't have to be related to this exact things. So he hates birthdays. He doesn't like getting presents on birthdays because he doesn't like this concept.
Okay. Wow, that's great.
Yes, and you told about this dialogue.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to have 5 times a day dialogue. You can do it.
You don't have to wait, or you don't have to set the exact time. Wow, birthday.
Yeah,
it's good. I think birthday is to give thanks to your own parents. That's what I believe, right?
maybe.
mean, thank you. That was a fresh, new idea. Yeah.
Right?
Yes, I mean it was just yesterday.
Yesterday. Okay. Good. Good. What do you think about this whole concept of glory in God?
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has to receive glory.
Sure. Yeah.
Maybe in sometimes we need to give glory also.
Sure. Uh-huh. But the mechanism,
Yeah.
two different mechanisms,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, I really want you to think about this. I mean, deeply and more. Spend your time meditating on this concept. Really? God made us that way, and God wanted to share His glory, even though we do nothing but be ourselves. That's not normal in most of the religions. I mean, I want you to stay on that concept and spend more time to think about it, and that's how we can choose what God we're going to be believing in. That is important thing, right? I mean, yeah, I add Jesus to Satish because he has a lot of gods that he prayed to in the morning, but I add Jesus amongst them. The reason why we believe that Jesus is the only God and the Son of God is something like this. I'm gonna unfold a lot of features to you later on, but today I want to share this concept of glory, how He wants to treat us in this manner, and that is incredible finding that we can do as a human beings, because the relationship between human and God, I mean, it'll like decide many of the things that we do. We could work hard to impress God or to share the glory to the others. We could, even sacrifice ourselves to serve our neighbors, to impress God or to share the love. That's a total different approaches in our lives. And it's simply called theology, the study on God. Your theology will decide how you live. And that's why I think this time is really important to figure out different concepts of different religion so that I would wisely decide or will follow the guidance that God has provided us, even now.
The God is full of glory, then,
Mm-hmm.
and we were made by His type, His
Image.
image, and then sometimes I feel sadness.
Sadness.
Then God feels sadness too.
Yes, He has emotions. The Bible explains that God has emotions. He has anger, He has jealousy, He has loving heart, and it means that He has an emotion. And he tries to explain and express those emotions to have deeper relationship with us. That's the point. It's not about, the God is angry, we need to give sacrifice to them. That's how it works all the time. We need to calm the waves on the ocean by giving one life in the ocean. Right? That's how humans are thinking. But the Bible explains that God has emotion because He wanted us to feel that He is not like a rocks up on the sky or like a stars that has no emotions at all. But
Ideals.
yeah, ideas or concepts. No, that's why the Bible explains God that He is a personal God. Personal God that we can have relationship with. That is amazing thing, I think. And He really tries to use our own languages to express Himself. That's why the Bible is trying to explain that He has certain types of emotions, which is, I think, incredible. He feels sad when the humans are falling into the sinful nature. He feels sad when the people are not living according to his will. He feels sad when bad things happening amongst the people. And that's why he sent his own son to rescue us, to save us. That's what we call salvation. Being saved by God's own son. That's called salvation, right? And after that, we can and live as his own sons and daughters. I truly hope that this time is also meaningful for you. I mean, this is really meaningful for me because this is something that I really wanted to share to not just you, to anyone, because I'm the one who experienced this first. And it's not my duty, it's not my paid job, but it's my own heart that I really want to share these things to you. And like I said, spend some time. This is not just easy concept to understand, but spend more time on this subject, and when we come back together, we can just share more ideas or suggestions or opinions, questions, and then I'll go further on not just the subject of glory, but the other subjects as well. Man, this is good because at the FNC, you know how hard it is to speak in Korean and English simultaneously.
Yeah.
That is crazy hard. When I speak in Korean, I need to think in this part of the brain. I'm thinking about in English, and then I'm gonna say it, and then this is really frustrating. But just this time is really good, even for me. Yeah, this feels really good.
Thank you for this hard work at FNC on Fridays.
That is, I feel a little like a responsibility because I'm the one who studied the official theology and many things. So I'm honored, I'm privileged, even though that is not easy job. But I'm so privileged, to be standing on the stage and share the good news of the gospel.
And I think there are quite many people in FNC.
Yeah, sure.
Like I was not hoped.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking that there were less people. That there will be less people.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah,
a lot of.
We were really surprised once when we first started at FNC. We had to have only few faculties because of the COVID. But when the COVID was a little calmed down, we started to invite some students, and we were really surprised that because of more students came than we expected. And every week we have some newcomers. It is not. I think it's God's hand.
Yes, I see not only international students but also many Korean students.
Yeah. I believe that they are also learning something good. I hope.
Of course, they do.
Yeah, good. Thank you for listening, and thank you for being here. And what can I say? Yeah. So, how about this concept of just sharing and asking? Is it good?
Mm-hmm.
I think we can. I think we can invite one or two more people here.
I also wanted to invite my friend who is on his way to full Muslim.
Okay.
He tries to make his life.
Okay. I mean,
More
if you want to, you can.
Yes, I really want to. I didn't tell him about Thursday meetings.
Okay.
He knows about Fridays,
Mhm.
and he's not able to come
Okay.
just because of
Mhm.
the classes, and it's a very busy day for him Friday.
Okay.
But maybe he can come. on
Sure.
Fridays.
Yeah. I think it'll be okay to invite some more people. We can share the food, right? I mean, yeah. Even some Koreans too, if they want to learn some more.
I really want to invite him because he's Muslim and
Yeah.
he has more, how to say, Muslim point of view
Sure.
than me.
Okay, that's great. That's great.
I know about it, but I'm not Muslim.
Very curious about it.
Yes, I live in Kazakhstan, but
Yes.
I don't know much. So I really want to hear his point of view.
Good.
Yes.
That'll be really great. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's good that you can hear your one.
Sure. Yeah.
Because it's different to just
Really different.
Interesting.
Really different.
By the way, last time I asked you why the differences between poor and abundance people are have difference.
Mm-hmm.
So when I think about that, I realize a little bit of that thing because of potential. When in mechanical engineering, all the voltage flow and all the water flow,
Mm-hmm.
and the flow is made by the potential.
Mm-hmm.
So we call it as a potential energy, and the mechanical energy is consists of kinetic energy and potential energy. So it changes. And I thought that the flow is it translated to in our human side. Flow is love. So the poor and abundance means
Abundance. Right.
풍부함.
Affluence.
Affluence. I'm sorry. Poor and affluence means there's difference in potential. So we can so affluence people can give love to poor. So there's we can love each other. I realized that a bit.
That is really good observation about the concept, about this whole correlation between this mechanical energy and thing and also the human lives. But it doesn't have to be biblical teaching. You got to remember that. I mean, you can translate something into a good feature, but it doesn't always have to be something biblical. So that's why I want to teach you about the stories and the principles of the Bible. I mean, you can translate these biblical teachings to your own lives, but there are some things that are working in the science and engineering, and you can apply it to your own principle in your lives, but it doesn't always have to be something biblical. I mean, they can be identical, you know what I mean? But
Yes.
there are some differences. So when you start to learn more about the Bible and the God of the Bible, that could be a little difficult to differentiate which one is just a worldly nice principle or which one is a biblical solid God's view, right? I mean, but this one, I think I can agree with you, but other religions can say so.
Yes, so I am very curious about what the biblical thing
Sure.
says.
I mean,
So in perspective of Bible,
Mhm.
I was very curious about because so I asked you.
Thank you. That was
Yes.
good question. I mean, Hindu, Islam, Christian says same things. I mean, why don't you just share your love and money and your affluence to the others so that we would be more equal in terms of the financial situation and many other environments we are in, right? That could be said in most of the religions. And what is the differences in the Bible about that? Let's talk about it next week.
Okay.
I mean, it could be related with the concept that I showed today, but there are some other things as well. I think that's a good place to live. Yeah.
Actually, it'll be very interesting.
I mean, yeah.
I'm waiting for it. I'm looking forward to it.
I strongly believe that it's going to be really interesting and good. This conversation, not just a one-way talk, but this type of conversation is really crucial.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you for coming and thank you for the time. And hope you have a good time the rest of the week. And see you tomorrow. Right? At Tennessee.